Thank you for joining us for another episode of The Pulse. This show will explore the connections between African Americans, Jamaicans, Ghanaians, Kenyans, Brazilians, Haitians, and African descendants from around the world. We have live interviews, demonstrations, and entertainment. The program will holistically and critically look at economics, politics, education, entertainment, sports, and health. Today, we start by looking at Sudan. Sudan is Africa's largest country that is potentially going to be divided into two nations. In this episode, we are going to talk with Blanche Foster. She is the acting executive director of the Dafur Rehabilitation Project. A lifelong community activist, Blanche has held numerous transformative positions, including board president of the Interfaith Hospitality Network of Essex County, a program that helps the homeless. She was also served as the community outreach coordinator for the United Nations Association of New Jersey in its global project for economics with Rutgers University. Blanche, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me. I'm delighted to be here.
Good, good. Well, we're excited that you're here. And, you know, we think that it's important for us to really explore this whole issue surrounding Darfur and Sudan. And I know that you've been right at the forefront for a long time now. Tell us, how long have you been working with Darfur?
Too long, because there are many who say that there is a genocide there. You can call it by any name that you choose, but the fact is there are hundreds of thousands of people who are dead, who have been removed from their land, who are traveling anywhere that they can in order to find safety. There are great measures being taken to bring peace and reconciliation to the land, and yet the fighting continues, the dead continue through whatever means, either through killings or through health problems, all things that we as human beings should not have to face. So DRP, which is what we call Darfur Rehabilitation Project, was begun in 2004 by some Darfurians who are in this area, and they asked me to work with them in order to start a nonprofit organization. So I joined them in 2005, and here we are now, 2011, and the killing still continues.
Right. I know, and it's a tragic situation. So that we have to think about all the different ways that people are being involved and ways people are not being involved, because I think that part of the mission that you're on is to talk about the fact that there's not as many people involved who should be involved.
Absolutely.
And I think that one of the things that I wanted to talk about with you is that your whole desire to do this as a volunteer, first of all, and as a community activist. Why don't you, before we get too much into the whole issue about Darfur, tell me something about your issue about volunteering and community activism.
Well, I come from a family of volunteering.
Okay.
My grandmothers volunteered prior to them, as did my grandfathers. And I guess if I went a generation beyond that, they would have been volunteering too. And people throughout my family, on both sides, my dad and my mom's, were volunteers. And they were examples for not only me, but others as well. So I've been volunteering ever since I was a kid. Started out by going down to the multiple sclerosis office and doing clerical work for them when I was an early teen, and continue to do it all along. I have never stopped. And I'm happy to say that my children have done the same, and others that I feel are important people in my life also continue to volunteer.
Now, what would you say, though, about people who today we look around and lots of young folks and other people, they just have no involvement at all. They don't do anything active. What is the rhyme and reason for getting involved in something like Darfur, something like the DRP, and this issue that is not in the United States? It doesn't necessarily affect you here. You could go and live your life as you normally do, but here you are volunteering for something at a very high level for something that's on the other side of the world. Why should people get involved?
Actually, it's 9,000 miles away. So I agree with you. Yes, it's a long way away. But the fact of the matter is, one human being is killing another human being. Or if they're not actively killing another human being, their actions are bringing harm to another human being. And so it doesn't matter to me whether it's Darfur or whether it's Rwanda or whether it's Bosnia or any other place on the face of the earth. We as human beings need to be able to look at ourselves critically and actually say, there's enough. We need to do whatever we can to halt it. That's really why I'm most actively involved at this point.
Okay. So can you tell me something specifically about Darfur in terms of what the issues are? I understand that, you know, we look at it, maybe all of our listeners don't understand, but, you know, we know there's two sides to this issue. What are tell us a little something about that.
There are two sides to every story, as you point out. And what is going on in Darfur is very complicated, extremely complicated, mainly because you have people who are connected in ways and have been connected for 4 centuries at least, living together in peace, living together, sharing each other's hopes and their passion for education, for living a better life, their skills in trade and in herds people and in farming, people learning to share, to coexist in a very harsh environment. The Sahara Desert is there. And climate change has been affecting how these people have lived for centuries. And yet here they are now at each other's throats. Not only is it impacting upon Darfur, it's impacting throughout all of Africa. Because Darfur used to be one of the main trade routes of Africa. And there is even a route that's known as the 40 days route, where it would take 40 days to travel by camel safely from the Sudan or from Darfur specifically into Egypt.
Okay.
And along that trade route, you had many people traveling through Darfur in order to go to Egypt for trade. You also had people who were traveling through Darfur to go to Mecca.
Okay.
And on their return, many of them settled in Darfur.
Well, we're gonna continue this dialogue. I think this is important for us to know in terms of how this all fits within the context of it. You're watching The Pulse. We're here with Blanche Foster, and we will return with you in just a moment.
Travel advisories to small business loans, student loans to taxes online. Whether you have information to get or ideas to give, USA.gov is the official place to connect with your government. From surplus car auctions to finding a new job, our new mobile apps will keep you updated on the go. So check out USA.gov, because the country runs better when we stay connected.
Every day, thousands of people are diagnosed with macular degeneration, a disabling eye disease that leads to severe vision loss. As a scientist conducting research for the American Health Assistance Foundation, I want you to know that there is hope that a cure and new treatments for macular degeneration will soon be found, but only if we can continue our groundbreaking research. Learn about my research. Call 1-800-437-2423 or visit ahaf.org for free publications on eye disease.